Hey there, Silver Tongue Devil here, and in this episode of The Fast and the Fletcherous, weeks it took me to come up with that title, we are going to be looking at the Fletcher sigil, and we're going to be looking at the Fletcher sigil in my own particular, idiom, sir. Idiom. So we're going to be looking at it in the way that I play it. Now, what is Fletcher? Let's have a quick overview of what Fletcher is. Random arrows. Every time I pull this, a random arrow is selected for me. It actually says the name of the arrow on the bow as to what's coming up. And you should, at this point, start to be able to recognise the arrows as well as they're coming out. Every time we miss, 1 damage is applied to us. This is why I play the way that I play, because missing in Fletcher, as good or as bad as you are, or can be, is very easy to do. Not a lot of health drops, only at the end of bosses and in the pits. They have, this season, increased this, which makes my tactic not invalid, but makes it easier. Teleport arrows can't damage enemies. That was the first thing that I was going to try and do when I started playing this. No achievements progression. Well, last season, this was a lie. They're lying to us, people, because last time Fletcher does work for achievement progress. And if you have all of the arrows unlocked, it is a fantastic way to upgrade all of your arrows if you're working on your profile or doing a second or a third one, dare I say. So, first things first. So now that we know the rules, what do we take amulet-wise? There is one choice here, and I'm glad that it's actually one of the ones that you would use for nothing else, and it is Unusual Fortitude. 1 more health on our health bar, and that is what we need. Extra armor isn't going to help us. Killing Anakin faster, it isn't really going to be relevant because we can kill him quickly anyway. An extra bit of armor, well, you can't hold, you're not going to get any more armor, and this gives you an extra block of life in essence. This gives you an extra block of life that you can keep on refilling. I would rather have 12 bars of health than 11. Spiritual Assist, you shouldn't be using that anyway. Wealth's Privilege, no one takes this except if you may be farming arrows for kills and such. But even then, that's still probably a bad choice. And Blessed Quiver, well, we don't have a quiver. We've got random arrows, so Unusual Fortitude is the choice. Hopefully that is as clear as day as to why. We're going to go Purgatory because fuck Desolation, no one goes there. And that's probably just got this entire video demonetized because I slipped in an F word. Right, 2 seconds. Hello, Mike. Sorry, I was doing my intro. Hello, Mike. Hello, Weeble. Hello, Fee. Wow, you're early, Fee. Hello, Liz, and hello, Ray, and hello, Christine, and yeah, I think I've covered all of you guys. Hello. Right, so, what am I going to be doing? Hello, Von. Did I say Von? Sure, I said Siobhan. Right, so, arrow that we have is Barrage of Needles. The usual way to play this, bear in mind we can still use slow time as well. Oh no, it's actually written now what the arrow is, not the next one. No, right. So, we are not going to do any of what I just did. We're going to make an attempt to kill as little as possible. It's just wasting valuable streaming time, and it's just potentially costing us life, is the way that I look at it. You can adapt this strategy however you want to. Hello, Sophie. You can adapt as much or as little as this strategy as you want to, but I finished second, just behind our very own Camille last season, and that's because I didn't really push it any further. I had other things to do, or other leaderboards to go for. And at the moment, I'm just checking for the pit, because that's the other place that we need to go. And I've tried adjusting this strategy to make use of the life, and now that we're getting extra, it could make it even more likely that I might have a look at adjusting certain things. But for now, I'm going to play it as if it was Season 5. There's a bloody pit. It's not in 3, is it? It must be in 3. Off we go then. So. Now, we can hear an orphan. That is our first target. What we want to do is we, at this point, want to cycle arrows. And the reason why we're going to do that is because we want to be able to one-shot the orphan. So the only time that you will see me killing enemies outside of the pit is to cycle arrows, because I am after specific arrows. As we play, you'll see them. We don't need to worry about Divine Sight. If we miss with that, it doesn't matter. That and Cupid are the only 2 arrows where it doesn't matter if we miss. Could have done with that one. Not doing that. We want to be close in whilst we're doing this to, again, ensure that we don't miss. God, do I hate... That wasn't a good idea. God, do I hate explosive arrows on this mode. It's taking its sweet time. Ball of Lightning 3 at this cycle will do. But really, you should be cycling for a better arrow. So what do I mean by cycling? Basically, making safe shots on enemies, headshots if you can, but it doesn't matter. And the reason being is because we want an arrow that is tipped. If the arrow is tipped, for instance, Tempest isn't tipped. It's the effect that kills things, not the actual arrow. Ball lightning is a bit of a strange one. I'll just demonstrate. If you get very close to an enemy with these multi-shot variant arrows, all 3 of them will go in the head. Like that. See how I was a little bit further off, so technically those arrows should have gone left and right. All 3 went in her head and did massive amounts of damage. That's a lot of damage. Much better arrow for an assassination. The best one is Volley 5. And that's all we're going to do. Each level, we're going to locate the orphan, jump in there with a very powerful arrow, destroy her. Why? That's worth 25k. I'm just getting rid of him because I'm going to do some talking. Would you believe? We're going to go into the pit. The pit is the only place that we have to actually kill enemies to be able to escape. How are we going to do that? We're going to slow it all down. This is why you don't kill anything outside of the pit, because then you have got life to play with inside the pit, because the pit is the challenge to this. Later on, it's the bosses. So, trick number 1. Execute the orphans nice and close with a multi-variant arrow. Winter's Bite ×3, Volley ×3, Volley ×5. I've found pound for pound damage wise is the best. Catalyst ×3, ×5 are good. Lightning will do the job. Hand of God is a strange one, because you can drop a Hand of God, puts the slow time bubble in, and then you're unfortunately hoping for a good arrow on the next one, which doesn't always help us. You want consistency in the randomness, and that's one way to do it, by going around the level and cycling your arrows. So what are we on points wise at the moment? We're on 30,000 because we've done sod all. Hello, Sean. Now, ghosts could be a bit of a pain in the arse. Where are there ghosts when we're going into the pit? Well, they are the guardians of the pit entrance. Now, we can get a little bit closer than this. You need to know where the pit is, but you don't need to be able to see the pit, i.e. sometimes you can be far enough away and there are enough enemies that the pit entrance doesn't actually spawn, but it is there. How are we going to get into that pit? Uh-oh. That was a bad shot. Tell I'm out of practice. Let's try that again, shall we? I'll cut that bit. How are we going to get into that pit? Oh, that's too high. That's too high. There we go. No, that's too low. There we are. And we're in. What I should have shown off there is the whole, you can pull your teleport arrow and if this is vibrating, it is a valid landing spot. I'm a little out of practice on that, as you can tell. I think it's because I've actually quite vastly improved my tracking with what I've done in my room by rigging up an IR caster, which if anybody wants to know about, quiz me about in a minute and I'll tell you all about it, but we were talking about it last night. Anyway, so where I have teleported, so you might be thinking, but Rob, when we come out, are we not going to get assailed by all that nastiness that you just left out of there? No. Where you teleport into the pit is where you will exit. Because we have done a very long teleport arrow, we've in essence saved ourselves having to clear any of the pit. That's why we do it. Now, what's our mission here? Kill the orphan. How are we going to do that? Well, here's an arrow that's good for it. We're going to go and find that orphan. We're going to go and check the likely spots. We're going to use copious amounts of slow time to get there. We're going to oh, that was a bad miss. We're going to execute her. Missed the first one. And then we're going to leave. I am using a lot of slow time here between each teleport. And I am making use of the rule of 17. I'm returning back to a reasonably safe space. We're still going to use a healthy amount of slow time. We've got a lot of ghosts coming into us, but we won't have as much as you think coming in because, as I've discussed previously, the rule of 17 is actually going to help us here. In that, a lot of those enemies that we did alert, steady, are not going to be pursuing us. Is that a hand of God? Yes, it is. We like that. This is a fantastic scenario. Will happen quite a bit as well, because hand of gods do come up. The rule, because we've just gone crazy through most of the pit, you don't need to play the pit this way. You can play it very slowly and methodically. All that you need to do is make sure that you get the orphan. If you're not quite as confident about doing what I just did, do it slow. Ugh. Try and keep your shots short. As short as you can, unless it's divine sight. Like, don't do that. Definitely don't do that. Definitely don't do that. But I'm trying to keep things flowing so I can show you the concept. But yeah, you take the orphan out however you want to, be it slow and methodical. This is a bad arrow. Come on. Slow and methodical, or get in there with the right arrow, kill it and retreat. And the reason why, so the amount of enemies that we just had to tackle then was nowhere near the amount of enemies that we alerted. Why is that? Because the game can only render in a small area a certain amount of enemies. Although they can be chasing you, they will despawn when you are too far away from them, or your immediate is packed with enemies, because of the limitation of the headset. So that's what we're making use of. Hello, sir. Would you like an incursion? I hope that was a yes. Now, as I said, this is the hardest part of the game. I don't want to be here killing these things. I don't want to be here at all. I just want to clear the level and get out of here as fast as possible, because pits are dangerous. But they are worth a lot of points. For us, they are worth the amount of points that the orphan is worth, which is 63,500, or it might be 63,250. They're worth a lot of points. Note how I'm using slow time between every single shot when this is happening. So again, copious amounts of slow time. Now, one of the advantages of this technique, whilst you are trying it, learning it, doing it, if you don't know the locations of the orphans already, you will learn very quickly, because you might die a lot, and you might constantly be repeating this, but you will start to get a handle on where all of the orphans spawn in the pits. You. And then one of them for you. Try, as I've said, to avoid long-range shots. keep everything close. $62? I thought it was 63. Might be 62. You might be right. Hey, we're not going to argue over a grand, are we? But yeah, it's good. Basically the orphan is worth $1.50. So if an orphan's bonus, regardless of headshots or what have you, is worth 25,000, it would be $1.50. Yeah, sorry, you are right. Yeah, you're exactly right, Sean. It's 62,500. Doing some quick math. So, what we're doing now, we're going to, at a reasonably gentle pace, clear the pit. The reason why we're doing this is because this is how you escape. As I've shown in some of my, experimental streams, where we're playing around with sometimes established game theories, sometimes new game theories, and so on. We learned that it's approximately 88% of the enemies that you need to kill here before you can leave. As soon as we start exploding that golden spunk of loveliness, indicating that the pit is available for us to exit, we are gone. We're only killing things here to escape. We are not killing things here to score. Now, one of the things, just like most of the sigils, they are going fantastically well until they're really fucking not. Fletcher is, obviously Mortal now takes the cake for that award, but we've all had runs that are going on Purist where they're going fantastically, and then a series of unfortunate events loses you a bucket load of life, and then all of a sudden you're fighting to survive again, or you're on low health and you're thinking like, oh well, I'm going to be starting this run again. Fletcher is even worse because we don't get that juicy slow time between hits. You can lose a lot of life very quickly doing Fletcher in general, let alone this technique. Again, we don't have to worry about our accuracy with Cupid's Wrath or Divine Sight. Those ones are the only arrows that do not count against us if we were to miss. What did you get hit by? Good effort, but... cursings. I'll let you die of curse then. I think I've explained everybody's Purist career, if I'm honest. Right. So we are just about there. So again, I'm using fairly similar strategies and tactics as I've displayed in the past at this point. I could go through this like a maniac, but you wouldn't get very many points out of it because you're using specials and their effects are not conducive to scoring well usually, because a lot of the effects that you would get are just doing the equivalent of a body kill as opposed to a headshot. Well, that's unfortunate. That will happen. Cupid's Wrath and Divine Sights will pass through ghosts. So I'm not too concerned though, because life is plentiful. Now, you will see that I probably need to go and visit a doctor at some point in the near future because, well, yeah, that probably, coming from my groin region, that probably isn't healthy. One might even suggest that I had an STI. Anyway, so they have now normally I wouldn't do any of this. I wouldn't kill anything else. We've got the ability to leave the pit because our familiar is sparking off of us and showing us the exit. If anyone in the medical profession knows what that's called, if it is even an STD or STI or whatever you want to call it, let us know in the chat. So they have now increased the life for Fletcher this season. They've made this game mode a little easier because I think everyone said, oh, it's really hard. And it can be hard. They've now made it so that in the pits you get 2 health, in the bosses you get 3. So we could have afforded to take quite a bit more damage, but you want to play this game in a way where we are trying to reduce life loss, and we are doing that by not missing shots. There we go. So we are back up to full health. Yes, there's a couple of ghosts up there, a couple of guys up there. Cheers, I'm gone. Thank you very much. Yeah, urinary tract infection caused by eating too much gold glitter dust. I have daughters. That is an occupational hazard. So, next stop, boss. Boss we go. We could, and at later cycles I might, cycle arrows at this point to give myself a good arrow for Anakin. What would I consider a good arrow for Anakin? Something that homes, or something that has a very wide area. Or something that has a very wide area of effect. Yeah, probably. Yeah, golden crabs weaves. Must be. So... So, we have Divine Sight. Now, why have we got Divine Sight? Don't do that to me, silly little glitch. The reason why I would have Divine Sight in this circumstance is if this was a higher cycle of Anakin, I would want to be at the back and play this semi-snow-globing Anakin, but obviously you can't do as much damage because you don't know when the Winter's Bites are coming, and you also can't Hand of God him on demand, and you don't want to be making long shots. Winter's Bite, yes, but from here, I could miss that shot quite easily, and I have done before, but with this, I can't. I cannot miss that shot. Now, for first level Anakin, we can get away with... We should, I probably left this a bit late, we should be able to get away with just spamming him down. Any of you guys that are still in the Catalyst crew, oh, missed one there. Any of you guys that are still in the Catalyst crew, same concept. You just spam him with arrows. Again, heavy amounts of slow time between each shot. Again, at this point, not too concerned because I knew this was coming. Hell, we can fire off a couple more and lose some more life and still be able to get topped up back to full. On. So what are we looking at score-wise? Well, we've left Purgatory and we've left a lot of points behind. But have we? That's probably half what I would score normally if I was playing Purgatory normally. Yet it's taken me a quarter of the time and I'm at full health. And that's with pissing about as well. Now, Paradise Lost is what gave me the initial idea for playing this way, because Paradise Lost with Fletcher is a nightmare because those guys are small targets. That was not the teleport arrow I was looking for. Trying to do it too fast. So we are going to rooftop hop. Copious amounts of slow time. Whilst we move, we'll have to be a little bit more clever with our rooftop hopping later on. Is that gone? That's going. Hello. Again, copious amounts of slow time whilst I'm waiting for the teleport arrow to land. You could even, if you were of the way inclined, use your shield at that point as well whilst you were waiting for things to come in. Do you have to? I was going to save this for the... That shot was not meant for you. Please move. Top marks if you can guess the line of that film that I kind of ad-libbed that from. Same again. Rubbish. Right, okay, so the other thing that I need to make you aware of as well. How do I know where the orphans are? Well, I can tell you a couple of things. I can tell you that the orphan will always be found in the 3rd section of Purgatory. I can tell you that the orphan will always be found in the 2nd section of Paradise Lost. Unfortunately, with Abyss, the orphan can be in either place. And as far as Desolation, well, we don't talk about Desolation. I believe it's the 3rd area in Desolation, but I don't go there. And if I'm not going there, and I'm trying to make the game easy for myself so that I can score well, I would suggest not going there either. Desolation is just a much harder way of doing Purgatory, so go to Purgatory. The more you play this mode, even if you don't like this style, you'll be able to score reasonably well off of it and surprise yourself in the standings if you can pull off just a cycle's worth. A cycle's worth is worth, should be worth about 300,000 points, I think, per cycle doing this way. That will probably get you in the top 100 at the very least, unless, of course, everybody starts doing this. So, next stop, we want the orphan. What does that mean? We need to cycle arrows. This level is a bit of a nightmare for doing that because we don't want to be cycling we don't want to be cycling arrows with cupids because they are small targets. We want to be cycling arrows on knights and monks, and indoors is probably the best place. Tempest no good. Tempest no good. Hand of God maybe. Cupid's Wrath no. Volley 3, that will do us. Now, one of the problems that you can have on Paradise Lost is I still don't really know, believe it or not, the spawn prioritization for the Cupids. I don't know if they have a high or a low, because it seems to change. As in, if there are 17 enemies in the immediate, are they one of the ones that will always show up and be there, or not? Now, I can hear her, so that means she's up there. Round here. And she's disappeared again. That means she was higher or lower? Now, yeah, we're going to have to do some killing, unfortunately. You die. Any more? She's back. It's not a bad shout. For me, it's more to do with the fact that I wouldn't encourage anybody to go to Desolation for any real reason. The other problem as well I have, as I think I've said before, which you might not be privy to, is as somebody who is recording and streaming, going to... That's not a good arrow, and she's up there, I think. Going to Desolation is not a good idea, because Desolation really pushes the graphical side of things on the quest. And I find, but you won't see in the video, that I get a hell of a lot of stutter when Barrage of Needles could have done us. I think she's up there. Let's have a look. Nope. Okay. Copious amounts of slow time at all times. I think she's below us, you know. Bad arrow. Should have sorted that out before. Let's go back and have a look. See if there's anyone we can shoot. You. And you. And you. Shields are a really good thing to shoot if you are trying to cycle arrows. Perfect. And I will literally abandon that kill because I have an arrow now that can do the task that I wanted to. I think she's below. Down in there, is it? Hello! Good evening. Oh, you little shit. It's another reason why Divine Sight is a very good one, because if you do balls it up, you don't take damage for it. It doesn't do as much damage as the likes of Volley 5, but you get a second bite of the cherry, so to speak. Right, let's just chill here a second. And that's as far as I'm concerned, that's Purgatory, that's Paradise Lost complete. Done. And should really, if I could, turn the gain up on my microphone so you can hear just how much I am hammering. Slow time. Oh, look at that one fly. See you later, pal. And away. Not away. They are. It isn't a bad shout, but as I said, that's it. I wouldn't go to Desolation because I find Desolation harder. But having said that, the way that we're playing doesn't really matter how hard the level is. It would need to be, yeah, it would need to be. I've just had too many problems there, and I think it's part of what's put me off is that we don't want to be that side of him. Go that way. Right, let's not lose control of Gabriel early, shall we? Note how I am herding him. As long as I keep pushing him, he will keep pushing back, and we want him on one of these pillars. That's a little bit wider than I like. We'll have you there. So, standard techniques with Gabe. Hide behind the pillars. Ooh, hello. You were a bit fast on the uptake there, weren't you, sir? Hide behind the pillars. Wait for him to dive in. When he dives... Oh, we can fire that one off for free. When he dives, be careful with Cataclysm hits, because that explosion has a nasty habit of pushing him about the place. That needs to go up really high. I don't need to worry too much about losing life at this point. Although I don't want to, if I don't have to. And then, again, we wait for the dive. Wait for that sword swing. Nice, easy finish. Again... So, where me and Cam differ on this tactic, because I know he's tried this style of thing before, is he... actually, no, Elite Jonathan is more along these lines, is he will do what I'm doing, but he will kill everything in the stage until he gets to the point where he's being efficient with the life that's left over. So, like, for instance, if we're at full health, well, I might as well clear Paradise Lost, hadn't I? And if I take 3 or 4 hits, then go to the boss. And then, you know, we're making use of all of this health that's just going to be lying around if we don't. But, again, if you have a tactic and it's working, if you stick to it religiously, I've tried that and tried trying to score well out of a level at the same time as doing what I'm doing to try and be efficient with the life that's on order. It takes a lot longer, and in my humble opinion, well, it's never really humble, is it? In my opinion, it's not worth your time. So, again, Cupids, just launch it off. If you get some kills, happy days. If you don't worry about it. Holy Light is probably the worst arrow for this entire shenanigan. Cat 5 could have worked, but we're not going to. Tempest is not going to work. Haven't actually heard the Orphan yet. Divine Sight 5, that we'll use. Now, I usually prep for the Orphan before I've seen it. So I assume that the Orphan's always going to be in the first stage. It's not always the case. I've got some key rooftops that I need to jump on to make sure that the Orphan is not here. I've also got some key areas to check as well, because we are looking for the pit. There can be the pit there. There it is. How are we going to deal with this? Let's do one of them. Let's do this. No worries, dude. You are most welcome. It's probably because I've put a lot more practice in than last time. Last time it was just, you know, a way for me to save myself time. But this time, I'm a little bit more practiced. So we are going to have to kill these ghosts, because obviously they're coming at us. And going to have to deal with them. Interestingly, Tempests can kill ghosts if you are very, very, very close. I mean, the thing is, you could do what I'm doing, just hunting orphans in the main game, but you will find yourself getting very high on cycles quite quickly, I would imagine, if you're comfortable with the bosses. And you could still get a decent score. You would definitely get 75k per cycle. 4 cycles will probably put you in the top 50, top 100, something like that. Now, again, ooh, Curse of God opportunity, eh? This is a shot that you should not take. Don't do that. Keep all your shots incredibly short. So not only are we trying to be preventative with life loss, well, we're trying to be preventative more than anything else. In these scenarios, I would recommend clearing your immediate, just in case you come out of the pit with a shit arrow and might have difficulty dealing with things. But I've heard the orphan, so let's cycle. Holy light, come on. Right, I would rather deal with the orphan now so that I don't forget about it. Bad shot to take that one is. Ball of lightning will do us. Now, if we can hear her over here, I know where she is. She's over there. We'll slow time all the way to her. Plant one in her face. Slow time all the way out. Ball lightning will actually do a bit of work for us back there. But most of that stuff will despawn before it can do much. And there we go. Another 25k. Easy points. And off to the pit. Now, the reason why I say about clearing the immediate, as I said, is you could come out of the pit with a garbage arrow. You're not going to make a point of cycling your arrows to come out with. And it's just to stop putting yourself under pressure. Now, agony, normally, agony equals awesome, as I've said in my videos, because there's more down here to kill. There's more opportunities for resources that we can't now get because summoners don't drop anything. And the level is just easier in those regards. It's higher scoring, and I find this a little bit easier a level than I would Despair. Mainly in this circumstance, blow up. In this circumstance, it's all about the orphan. In Despair, the orphan is an easy tag. We don't need to worry about the orphan in Despair. In Agony, the orphan can be a pain in the arse. I can show you lots of little techniques to deal with old Asmo. Right, she's down the bottom. So she is deep. So this is where we're going to have to be a bit risky. But if we're not going for anything else, and we're at full life, and we know we're going to get at least 2 life back at the end of this, it's worth the risk, I think. What I would say you do is you clear your immediate as best as you can. So we clear this so that we've got somewhere to retreat back to. We're going to... Nice. Save me a life. We're going to try and cycle our arrows. That's a pretty good one, you know. Let's use that. I was going to clear all of this and cycle arrows, but I don't want to pass that up. So we're going to teleport over here. We're going to teleport down the orphan's throat, which is just behind that one. Ow, never mind. She's gone. And we leave. Again, slow time. Lots and lots and lots and all the slow time. And I'm not even going to try and fight these guys. I'm just... Well, I am fighting them a little bit, I guess. But you want to concentrate on getting... Where's he teleported to? Has he gone up there? Cheeky boy. You want to concentrate on, in this circumstance, getting away. You don't want to put yourself under pressure when random arrows is a thing. But we're not doing too bad here. Again, hitting the shield counts as a hit. So you can actually use a knight's shield as a way to cycle arrows, which I find reasonably useful. Yeah, but then if you got more than 15, you get 20 in a blessed quiver at the very least. But yeah, it would be a very overpowered arrow. It's one of my arrows, one of the reasons why I won that tournament with the bow. Good old well-timed Cupid's Wrath 3. So those guys have definitely shot at me. They're definitely teleporting in. We do need to deal with these enemies. So the way that this pit works is we don't have to kill everything, but we do have to kill enough to activate the incubi. Once we've activated the incubi, do you know what? I was just about to pick my vapor up and have a quick vape. That's why they teleported in. Bastards. I have got my vape in my hand. Thank you very much. Would you like another? So, yeah. This is all because I picked up my vapor. Right, so we can now hear the incubi has been activated. We can hear that because, well, he'd either be laughing, teleporting, or throwing fireballs. We can have a quick peeky, make sure that's what he's doing. Yes, he is. If he is in that mode, he is now alerted. If he is alerted, one of the ways that I like to deal with him is I'll come back up into this top-hand corner and I'll look that direction. And the reason being is, I'm just going to have a quick vape. And since he's taking his sweet time, a quick wet of water. And I would recommend, if you are doing this, I mean, this is a good tactic regardless of whether you're doing this or not. Why fight him, the incubi, where he has the advantage, when you can bring him up here? Unfortunately, patience isn't my strong point, but you knew that, didn't you? And now we've got an easier kill without his cronies surrounding us. Again, be very careful with those explosive arrows. Those are the ones that, especially with incubi, they will knock them around. So if you hit them with catalysts, either put another one in them quick sharp, or just leave it. Let it explode before you do it. It'll just cost you life if you don't. So now we're at this point. We've killed the incubi. The level is open. We could send a teleport arrow all that way. What is he doing teleporting there? Didn't alert you. We could do that, but there's the risk that we would land in the lava, and I'm not a massive fan of doing the Terminator 2 ending. So what we need to do is we need to get down that left-hand side and then straight into the portal. Straight into the portal. We need to take that one out. There's the possibility that if you try and teleport past that summoner going down this corner, if he is still there, he can hit you as you teleport across. The other thing to note is make sure his hex has disappeared. You kill him, his hex sticks around for a little bit longer. Make sure his hex is gone. I'll try and demonstrate on this other one in a minute. Bad idea, but do it anyway. Do your thing. Make sure when you kill him, so hopefully I'll get to demonstrate now. He's dead. See how long his... Ooh, cheeky bastard. I'm trying to explain something, dude. Give me a break. See how long his hex stayed around? Whilst that hex is active, he can still hit you. I know this because it's happened to me many times. But we get the... You only have to get one of those two summoners out of the way and then teleport straight out. Nice short shot. Nice and easy. So, Abyss done. We've done the pit. We've done the orphan. 26,007 or no, 267,000. It's actually a bit short. But we'll have to make up some points. Hello, Al. Well, Yeah, well, this is part of the reason why I do this strategy, because I don't like taking damage from missing. And so what we're doing, so in essence, the achievement for, or the goal from, no, not achievement, not goal, the takeaway from all of this is, why am I playing this way? I'm going after the high value targets and trying to shoot as few arrows as possible. Why? Because every time we miss, we take a hit. Yes, I could do what Cam does and spend hours laboriously taking out every single enemy and doing it in such a way that you can guarantee that you don't miss. But as Cam, it takes a long, long time. And just like Mortal, one slip on the concentration, and then we go. Why can't they put a zip line up here or something? I mean, really wanted a zip line for the tournament. Thought they might add it. Chore. But yeah. So the other thing that we do whilst we're doing this is, as I said, you're mitigating your own life loss so that you can get further. You should be able to get about 300,000 points out of each cycle. You can do some extra headshots if you want to. To be fair, the 300,000 probably comes from me killing enemies to cycle through for the orphan arrows, or for the arrows for the orphan executions. Right, quick wet of water, because I'm gasping and I'm on. Right. Asmodeus 101. When Asmodeus has not got his barrier up, when he hasn't got the swirling yellow, he is a hittable target, meaning we have opportunity to cycle arrows on him. Now, the way that I like to deal with Asmodeus, I don't know if I should advise this or not. I think I should. If you are comfortable with your, yes, you could use Cat for doing that, but you can do it with Hand of God as well, as I've shown. So then you don't need Cat 3s. Cat 3s are good arrows, but again, they're another one where it's like they have a one use. So what we're going to do here is we're going to cycle arrows on Asmo by just chucking them into him. What I want is the aforementioned arrow that I was just trash talking, Cat 3 or preferably Cat 5, and I want to try and shoot it at an angle across him. And the reason being is because we're going to try and explode as many of those boils as we can. So if I go there, we have to wait for him to engage in his slow time. That takes pretty much all of his boils out. Now, as you can probably agree, that's a lot of skulls. That's a lot of skulls coming towards us. And if you do them individually, this might happen just by accident. Get off. What you want to do is let them get close and then make short little teleport bounds. And what those short little teleport bounds do is each time the skulls catch you up, they stop and begin their self-destruct process. Make sure you have the achievement that adds the timer onto skulls exploding. It delays their timer. Can't remember which one it is. Someone helpful say it. I can't remember. But you have to kill like 99 exploding skulls or something along those lines. Hello, Norb. The stream was slightly cursed at the beginning. So that's got rid of those. Just in case anybody doesn't know what I'm doing here as well, this is another little hack, is that if you stand on the second stepping stone, or, well, first stepping stone from the stairs, and you stand far right on this stepping stone, Asmo cannot hit you because his boulders will hit these. And something else that is not known, I don't think, about Asmo is he gets a little bit tuckered out after every 3 that he fires. Notice how he'll fire 1, 2, 3 in quick succession. On the third, and this is true of every time that he throws boulders, he has a little thinky. He has a little rest. Must be getting on now. He's got to be in the hundreds of thousands of years old. So stamina's an issue. What we want to do is we want to time it to go in on the third one, just so we've got some time to play with. Not very much. And then we want to try and get that last one, and then same thing. Wait for the skulls to get close, and then if there's only 3, just do short little teleport bounds around the platform. But when there's a lot of them, you have to use the full thing. Now, I would say go here, kill the immediate threat. If you get the right arrow, kill the ones that are further away. Can't worry too much about arrow cycling, although I know what I want at this point. I always try and get at least one of those, and then I would tuck myself in on this corner, and then try, that's quite a good arrow actually, and then I would try and get one of those here. Keep an eye out on the cupids teleporting behind you, and let the arrows, if you've been lucky enough to get a curse, let the arrows kind of do the work. Now we've got divine sights, so we can pop out and shoot them round corners. Those will do the jobs for us. I'm going to let the curse work. I'm going to stay here for this bit because I've got a decent arrow. I've fired that high so that it comes down on them with divine sight, because it's more likely to get headshots and actually more likely to hit. And I didn't mean to do the same with Cupid's Wrath, because that one's usually a pretty good one. But if you do fire it up and it angles down, there's more chance of it actually doing what it says it's supposed to fucking do, as opposed to just flying off on some kind of targeted mission in Desolation when you're actually on Abyss. So we've got a curse on him. We'll add some more craziness to that little combo, and he's done. Now this next one, you cannot cycle, see this orange swirly? You cannot cycle arrows on him when he's like that. As soon as that shield drops, we are going to start cycling arrows, and ideally what we want is Cupid's Wrath times 3 or Divine Sight times something. And you'll see him drop his shield in just a moment. But ultimately, you also want to be putting a lot of effects on him. And for the more spicy play, if you wanted to go for it, when cycling arrows on him, if you get a Hand of God and shoot him just above the groin, you can cup Asmodeus. Let me show you how. Hopefully I'll get one. And actually make Hand of God work on him. Ball lightnings will hit things that are going on here. Cupid's Wrath times 3, that's what we want. Why am I going for that arrow? Because more often than not, it will hit this and then spin round and potentially hit that. And that's the reason why. Now we're just going to have to cycle arrows as best as we can and be careful. Right, Hand of God. Okay, God, time to cup Asmodeus. So we want to be aiming for there. And now you'll note that Hand of God does work on Asmodeus. However, he still, although he has a slow wind-up, it still gets thrown at the same speed. So be ready for that. When he releases it, well, unless they've changed it, it'll still travel at full speed. Cheeky boy. Only slow timing it when you want to. And then we're back to cycling. Divine Sight times 3. That'll do a job for us. Shot. Hit. And you'll see that it actually nailed and did some damage to his dorsal flange, which is what it is. I don't care what you say. I love that word. It's a dorsal flange. This is a good arrow for us right now. So we will dodge these rocks. Again, voguing with the shard, just spamming the button. and moving it across your vision will do a job. These ones might not get it. No, they didn't. If we get another Homer and go like that, that should do the job for us. I personally like to go over here. I know our very own John Holland has adapted. Ooh. Yeah, well, you know, I tried to keep it unexpected. I'm not hitting my shots. Normally I would go on that little platform because I just find it a better angle to deal with all this trash. Try and take try and take the incubi out as best as you can, but we don't have to worry about him too much because he's not the trigger for the wave. Be careful with what you fire at him. We do not want to kill anything more than the archer at this point, and this isn't a bad arrow. Now normally you'd think, well, hang on, divine sight, that's going to fly all over the place and kill other things and potentially trigger the cupids. If we shoot it directly into his face, all three of them, hopefully I've stuck around long enough, all three of them will embed themselves in his face. Even though that's not where the shot should go, if you are close enough, that's how all multi-shot arrows are that are fired at the same time are programmed, that if you are close enough, it will just all go in. So we don't want to kill a single one of these, because Asmo can actually do that with his boulders through friendly fire. It's one of the only friendly fire instances in the entire game. What we kind of want to do, though, is we want to cycle. Cupid's Wrath, that'll do us. Cycle, cycle, cycle. Divine Sight. Cupid's Wrath. Lovely. And again, Divine Sight, Cupid's Wrath just takes the pain out of doing Asmo because they're homing arrows and there's only 2 targets, and as long as the stuff that is behind you is far enough away and you are looking at Asmo, that's the important part. The abominations can be almost right on top of you, but if you are looking at Asmo's horns, more often than not, because we know how crazy Divine Sight likes to be, more often than not, the homing effects will target his horns. The other one that's great for that one is Cat 3 or Cat 5, and you aim a horizontal shot. One of the few times that I will embrace my inner barbarian. You fire a horizontal shot at his forehead, and the spread will take it onto the horns, explode, and one-shot KO him at that point. So, how much life did we lose? Not a lot. Cam will not be happy with the efficiency that we are going here. But, as I said, if you stick to this tactic, you'll be able to get far. And all of this could be being used whilst you are learning how to do this. And then, at some point, you will get to the point that I'm doing. Desolation? No! We like easy. So we'll do a quick points check. I'll save and go back, and I haven't actually put a Fletcher score up yet. So let's see what a cycle of just doing orphans and just doing the bosses and just doing the pits, let's see where that puts us in the world. I mean, it's not going to be high enough for me, but all slow time. Keep watching, Al. It's all slow time. That's all I ever do. Again, it is. You are quite right, but it's all experience. So I know it's only the beginning of the season, and I know that Cam hasn't started because he can get very far. But we're 28th in the world. I've done what? A cycle? I would like to think that any of you watching me can repeat, as long as you can get past Asmo. I'd like to think that any of you can repeat what I've just done, and it's all about getting in close on that orphan, one-shot KO in her. The difficult part for you to begin with on this will be the pits. Later on, it's Asmodeus, but I've also got you covered on that as well. I've got some nice strategies for dealing with, not Asmodeus, for, no, sorry. Oh, you should have said LG. I would have gone there in your honour. Hello, LG. So, volley 5. We like volley 5. Hi, fellas. Goodbye. Now, we want to be looking for the pit because we don't want to have to travel backwards. We need to be looking for the pit because I don't want to have to waste the time going back. Wasting the time going back for things that you should have spotted on the way is a great way to lose life. Global Supreme. Well, you know what they say, Sean, you're only as good as your last season. Although that was I think you're still the record holder for the bow, even after Travis's fantastic work. Now, one of the things that we do need to do, so this is the other thing that this will benefit you, because it's all you'll be going after, is you'll get intimate knowledge of where all the pits are as well, all their potential spawning points. I know that there's one in there. I don't think you guys might be able to hear that. Now, that's not the sound of the pit. The pit makes kind of like a low, ominous rumbling voice. I suppose if I shut up, you might be able to hear it. Hear that noise? That's a ghost. Several ghosts. Now, unfortunately, we haven't got the option of sneaking our way into that pit. We're going to have to fight it. So what I would say is this is a fantastic arrow for the orphan assassination. That, I believe, if counting is with me, which it usually isn't, I believe that's the third section. So what do we know about the third section of Purgatory? That is definitely... I'll go back and... Could you not hear it? Honestly? Come on now. Turn your volume up. Got it loud enough, or maybe I've quietened it so my voice is uber powerful. So I'll go back and we'll have another listen. But I definitely know that the pit is over there. We'll go back for that in a minute, because we've got a very good arrow. And I know that the only place that the orphan can spawn in this configuration is on that landing there. I think it's the only place. Let's test my theory. Oh, look, there she is. Good evening. Good night. And that's it. And the quicker you move away and the quicker you teleport away, the more likely the things that we've alerted have been despawned, which means that they won't give chase, which means that we don't even have to fight them. Now let's go and have a look at that pit. Hello, Rena. Yes, yeah, it's definitely the ghosts. But yeah, well, it's slightly different to what they sound like when they're coming through the walls, because they're in their resting state. But yeah, you're definitely right. I think they're a bit louder when they're coming through, when they're on you. That was burning. So what we are going to have to do is we are going to have to deal with things in the immediate. So let's get that done now. Ooh, good one. Boo. Not so great. And we'll do it very timidly, very calmly. Yeah. Oh, Rena, did you know there is a jousting game in the App Lab? I did not know that there is a jousting game in the App Lab. Indie VR, who does indie games, he did a video on it. And it looks actually quite fun. It's not multiplayer. Otherwise, I would definitely have you on stream and joust you. Yeah. Yeah, jousting game. It's kind of a cartoony palette. I think it's just called jousting, or joust off, or joust on, or... I don't think it's free, though. But maybe I'll cover it if it is. I can, but I don't use the shard enough to be able to... I'm not a... It's just to keep her in the stream. That's the only reason why I said jousting. The other watchword that I can do on Rena is horse archery. And then I've got her for the night. Yeah, have a look and let us know how it is. It looks a bit cartoony, I think. So I don't use the shard much. There was one that had jousting on it. That was really good. Well, it's terrible. There was There was a Robin Hood game. It was like Robin Hood Defender of the Realm or something. It was a strategy game, but it had lots of mini games within it, and one of the mini games was jousting, and I think it was that game, and it was really good. Anyway, so quick tutorial on shards. Right, so activate the shard by holding the grip button on your right hand. Deactivate the shard by let going the grip button on your off hand, I should say. There we go. On to the pit. So I don't use the shard very much. The way that I use the shard, because it's not very reliable, in my opinion. And if you're having to use the shard, you're probably at the point where you're risking it. The shard is very much a last ditch, even laster ditch than the shield. Tap the grip and a little movement of a little swipe of your hand, see these little tiny movements. Hold, let go, and that is enough to move you. If that's enough for you, and it should be, that's about it. What I use the shard for is on Asmodeus, and it's just to make sure that I dodge the boulders, and I do one of two things. I spam the shard, drag it across my view, or if I want to, that's not a great environment, if I want to do it the other way, I would bring it across my body, and then you can do various vogues with that. But that I kind of just use the shard exclusively for Asthma. You'll see me use it occasionally in a panic. You want to ask about sharding? Ask Rico. I don't know how he does what he does with the shard. And to be honest with you, it's now at a point where it's not reliable enough for me that I'd want to learn either. There was, again, like Barrage of Needles. There was a time when Barrage of Needles was the scoring strategy, and there was also a time where the direction that you were moving and spamming the shard button would shard you in that direction. And the shard was fucking amazing back then. Those times are gone. So yeah, I don't use the shard a lot. Rico's the one to ask about his technique or watch his technique, but he does everything very close and to the chest. So, but that then leads to you not being able to get quite as good a draw. He also does everything sat down, so maybe that's a factor. I'm quite happy standing up, so I don't have to rely. I'm always stood up, so I don't have to rely on the shard like somebody sat down thinking on about it. Immolation. Why you be here? Oh, well, at least it's not even a real pit. That's good. LG will tell you why this isn't a real pit if he's still here. It's not a real pit because Skeleton Knights, Skeleton Warriors. This doesn't count as a pit because Skeleton Knights and Skeleton Warriors are very easy. Or they should be at the very least. Yeah, see, everybody's got their own preferences. I would have thought it would have been more... Yeah, I know, right? Gift of the gods, this one is. I do use it. I mean, I use it a little bit, but I don't use it as much as I should. I just don't find it reliable enough to work it into my strategy. Ooh. Right, we've got Volley 5, and I am confident that it doesn't matter where the orphan is, we can get in there and we can kill it and we can get out. If Rena, if you go onto Indie VR's channel, he has got a video up of that, indie_VR. Have a look. He knows nothing about jousting, so don't look at it along those lines, but it might be quite a good one to have a look at just so you can get an idea. Where you at? Hello? No? Oh, we're going to have to use that now. Damn. Well, Cat 3 will still kind of do us. The other place that she can be is most likely either over here. Oh, you're down there. That should kill her, but we'll stick around just long enough to find out. No, we won't. We do need to finish her off, so... Oh, is the skeleton going to do our job for us? Nope. And goodbye. And And kill. Kill. Leave. Shoot and leave. Now, we're going to try and get back to somewhere a little bit. Hello, Beanie. Somewhere a little bit easier to defend, but we've got to remember there's some ghosts on us, and they do love coming through those fucking walls. Got time here. That's a bad arrow. That's a bad arrow. See, I had to shard then. Right, we're going to clear this then, because this is where the least enemies are. Again, you don't have to do what I just did, but I'm confident in my abilities. I mean, to be fair, I wasted the arrow that I was hoping to plant on the orphan. As the cycles get higher with this strategy, you will find that you will need those powerful arrows to be able to kill, to be able to one-shot the orphan. I'm the new rookie, mate. Bye-bye. I suppose... I don't know. One of the things that I will say is my tracking with this infrared caster I have a little bit, haven't I? I have. Maybe it's because of the improvements that I've made to my tracking with this infrared caster. Potentially, it seems to be a little bit more responsive. Or right, maybe when Superbright changed the code over, they fixed the shard by accident, because it won't have been on purpose. I guarantee it. I think it's because of what I've done in my play space. As I was saying in the emergency stream that I did the other day. Infrared caster. Thank you, Norb. Sell it. I can't remember if I've got. I don't think I've got. Kim on Discord. I don't know. That's why I wouldn't have sent her an invite myself. But yes, join the Discord. So hang on. I can tell you now. So basically, what an infrared caster is. I won't spend too long on this because I'd like to get some work in, but they are good. So I originally picked up infrared casting. How the Oculus works is the main source of light that it uses for all of its tracking is the infrared spectrum within light. An infrared caster or an IR caster you would use to increase... Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, do a live stream. Stream of Pain, Beanie. They're gagging to see me do one. Oh, is that Dan in there? Oh, hello, Dan. Sorry, mate. I thought I heard you sneak on in. Did you have... I can't have a look at Fletcher for you as to whether this does anything towards your achievement, so I'll leave that on you because I'm not going to do it, but I'm pretty sure it does, even though it says it doesn't. So the infrared caster is what you would use if you had security cameras and you wanted to increase their field of view and brightness at night. If you double tap on your Quest, you go into pass-through mode, in essence, a CCTV camera. By putting a infrared caster up, it casts more of just an infrared. So it's almost like having a spotlight, but without the bright light of a spotlight. And then I've positioned that in my room. So it's a shame I haven't got a Pico so I could show you exactly what I'm talking about in color pass-through, because I know that works on streaming. If I go to pass-through now, it just blank screens you. But if you can imagine, this is the front of my room. I've got a big white wall with a display in front of it, quite a big one for my tracking to have something to lock onto. I have a strip light above me, so where that is here, and it's a bit higher than that. And I was finding that I'm starting to get this dead area in front of me, and I tried a lot of different things. I think it's because my strip light that's up here is possibly either on the way out or it's not bright enough. Anyway, so in the top left of my room where all my board games are, I've put my infrared caster up there, and it literally shines down on the entire room, and it reflects really nicely off of white surfaces as well. Yeah, I know. Well, setup reveal when I have a Pico 4. because it'll be easy to do them. Anyway, so I'd highly recommend them, and they're not massively expensive either. The reason why I originally got one is because I was being all clever and thinking, well, hang on a second. If it just works on the infrared spectrum, and I got an IR caster, could I put several of those out in my garden and play at night without any other light source and in privacy? I mean, you know, obviously people outside would never hear me because, you know, I don't talk like that. But I'd be in the dark, so even if they could hear me, they wouldn't be able to see me. So I could make a fool of myself all I liked. I never quite got that far because I need to make some adjustments to my backyard before I do that. But my plan was to set a couple of infrared casters in my backyard so that I could basically play in a massive area in the dark. I mean, I could, but, like, I don't know. It doesn't sound like the sort of quality content that I'm after. I mean, maybe it'll be as soon as I get a Pico, I'll do it. I'll do it all the time. Mac does it all the time. Mac in VR does it all the time on his Pico by accident. It's a brilliant little thing. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. To be fair, if you have a look on the various interviews that I've done that are on the channel for season beginnings, you'll see a lot of my play space. Would you like another one? Thought you might. I am using the shard a little bit more. Maybe it's because it's all of a sudden reliable, or it seems a little bit more reliable. My problem with the shard is, as often as it'll send me forward, it sometimes sends me back. Hey. I ducked it. No worries, K2. Let's see. I wonder if it's because I haven't been playing for a little while and, like, I haven't been strucken by the shard yet, hence why I'm using it more than I normally do. But it seems to be doing all right in the tracking. I haven't lost tracking at all tonight, which is good. It's probably easier on the arms as well. Let's go and get you guys. Again, always don't be worried about points. Go for body shots where you have to. Kill them all with whatever arrows you get where you can. Just get rid of them. We're not here for points. Or what points we are here for, we've already got. Ghosts, other than Cupid's Wrath, they seem to pass through. Oh no, they do pass through. They don't home on them either. Other than Cupid's Wrath, every other arrow hit into a ghost anywhere. Yeah. Yeah, good diseasey times. So, as far as the ghosts are concerned, you don't want to be cycling arrows on them, but you'll find that that'll happen naturally. As long as you hit them with the arrow anywhere, doesn't have to result in a kill. It's the same as hitting the shield of an enemy in that regard, and it will allow you to cycle items. What are you doing here still? So yeah, again, that didn't hit him, but it did hit his shield, so it's true of skeleton warriors as well. Oh, bad times. Incursion 101. Right, we've got a lot of enemies over here. Let's deal with what we can here. Nope. Now, this is quite a good thing, a good strategy to adopt as well. If you've been lucky enough to get a Hand of God, go off and alert things. Ghosts especially. I'd much rather deal with ghosts in a Hand of God than anything else. Early doors is one of the strategies that I kind of use, is you herd up all the ghosts, especially if you get a Hand of God in your quiver, and then find somewhere nice, plant the Hand of God in the leader, and then take the rest out. Oh, that's a good arrow for the situation. In. One for you. One for you. This is where the points difference comes from, and I'll probably make myself up to 300. Well, hey, we're spunking! So I'll show you what I would do at this point. Little teleport grab there. Hope you appreciated that. So what I did there is I had already fired my teleport into the portal, slow timed, pointed my hand and hold the grab button to get the health. As long as you hold that grab button, it doesn't matter where you teleport to, that health will make its way to you. I first discovered that in my very first tournament. Oh no, not my first tournament, in the 15 Minutes of Fame one. If you look at any of the 15 Minutes of Fame tips and tricks ones, you'll see the teleport grab and the tele kill. Why are we going down here? We don't need to go and visit these boys. So this is what I was saying about the whole points thing. I could make some extra points up here by killing these, but it's really not worth it. And you'll just end up losing life. And the problem is, you can never budget for the amount of life that you're going to lose, because you might get hit by one enemy, then try and counter that enemy with an arrow that will inevitably go fucking through it. That's 2 life. You then teleport away and panic another shot off. That's 3 life. And before you know it, you lost loads and loads of life, and you're then starting to get into a deficit for the cycle. The way that they've changed it so that there is more health available does mitigate these factors. I could probably play a little bit looser than I am. Or could probably play a lot looser than I am. I'm doing a reasonably tight job tonight in comparison to the last fucking Mortal stream anyway. Should we do a bit of cycling? Yeah, why not? No. Cupid's Wrath, I'll take it. Now, as was discussed, not pointing any fingers or naming any names about anybody in the stream, but you have to do a certain amount of damage to Anakim before the first cycle of monks appears. Now, normally I would like to go into Anakim with as powerful an arrow as I can get. Hand of God, Winter's Bite, or so on, if I'm just going to spam him. If I am going to try and play him properly, i.e. working the room, I would want something that does the job for me, so there's no chance of me missing, and at least hits him and does some decent damage. Cupid's Wrath, Divine Sight, so on. If you are comfortable in making your Winter's Bite and hitting that shot every time, go for it. I err on the side of caution because I want to reduce life loss. And again, copious amounts of slow time on every single pull, regardless of what arrow hits. Try and go for headshots where you can. It's headshots that cause the stagger when he has lost enough life. And just burn him down. You might get an arrow fired at you. Some of your arrows that you're firing in this circumstance will do a job. Ooh. Hey! Not my name. Not this time. Once you get to cycle 4, this does not work. You cannot kill him quick enough, and you will put yourself into a situation where you are fucking surrounded by archers. On the crossbow, you can kind of get away with it, definitely up till cycle 3, maybe cycle 4. With the bow, I will start showing you another way to deal with Anakin when you start getting to cycle 3. But again, look at this. Through damage prevention, through just going for the orphan, and just doing the good stuff, we are still at full life. I do not agree with Super Bright's decision to give us even more life for Fletcher. However, because it will just make my score better. However, I do like the idea of more people playing Fletcher because it becomes a slightly easier mode with more life, so we'll split the difference on that one. Score check. 402,838. Cheers, LG. So we are at 400,000 points now. So, first things first, no pits. Let's cycle. We can cycle quite easy here by letting them come down to us. There's a lovely shield. Oh, fucking holy light. See, these are the things that can happen. It's going so great till it really fucking isn't. Right, Wildfire 5. We like Wildfire 5. So, you could do... Now, to be fair, Cam's technique of bottom dwelling trumps my technique here of rooftop hopping, because it is less dangerous, and for this... But I don't do a lot of bottom dwelling, so I don't know any... And yeah, I can work out the routes on the fly, but... The problem with rooftop hopping is there are occasions where you will need to deal with an enemy, and I don't want to lose this arrow. This shot is not meant for anything else but the orphan. When I was originally going to do a tutorial, steady on. When I was originally doing a tutorial of this, I almost put the Jack Sparrow reference for that, for Pirates of the Caribbean reference on that now. We're going to sit here. We might have to use this arrow. Remember, you can still use your shield. If you really, really must preserve that arrow, which I don't really, really must, but I will. Now, I can't hear her here, and that's strange. That would say to me that she is not in this section at all, which is good, because I want to avoid this as much as I can by going up very, very, very high. That is a valid landing spot, but can be a bit risky. You could then go from here to up here. This will cause a lot of orphans that have been alerted to your presence to teleport up here, but then you're gone already. This is like this is vaulted rooftop hopping. Oh. Orphan? Didn't even hear her. Maybe I was too high. Now, this is where you lose life, when you have to go back. Now, the fact that we've traversed most of this level, she's definitely in the second section, but we haven't heard her, would suggest to me that the enemies are so dense that the orphan hasn't even spawned. It's that dense with the nasty. So, that kind of forces our hand in what we do now, which is kill stuff. Come on. Work. Almost let down by the bloody shard then. I want to use that over here. Might get a load of cupids with it. Hey, that's what I'm here for, Knob. Yeah, no, there's lots of places that she could spawn, but she shouldn't have yet. I've been close enough to her to be able to get her to spawn. I would imagine she's on the dance floor. She's usually on the dance floor if you don't hear her on the way over here. Again, though, these are little things that you'll pick up if you embrace this style of play. But we're still cycling at this point. So, we're doing... So, this is what I want to avoid. And hopefully I won't be demonstrating why. But you could be right, she could be down there. Alright, make sure she's not... One for you. Missed. Got ya. That would have been a good arrow too. Alright, Curse of God. We can make use of that. Hello. Goodbye. Again, all risky shit that I don't want to have to do, but my hand is kind of forced when I'm looking for the one thing that I'm here for. If I'm skipping the entirety of the level, I must make sure I get the thing that I'm actually here to do. Let's go and have a quick check on the dance floor. Hello. Nope, not there. Now she might be here. No. I think unless enemy density has caused her not to spawn, the last place that she can be is here. She can be out to the front as well. Winter's Bite in this situation isn't too bad because it freezes her for a split second. This is risky. This I shouldn't be doing, but Why not, eh? That should be enough. Azure's Fury is a very underrated arrow in these circumstances. Well done, Sean. So the reason why that would have happened is I went higher. I went high, which is the way that I would always approach this level. And because the enemies were so dense and there was so many of them, because I think the orphan, I think it depends on where she is, but different orphans have different spawn prioritizations, i.e. of the 17 enemies, you know, there could be ones that are even closer, even further away than the orphan's designated spawn, but she still might be not one of the ones that makes the cut, so to speak. But again, it's usually a solvable issue if you know locations of orphans. The other thing that's good about this as well, hour and a half we've been going for, and that's with me explaining. I can go through this very quickly. No, the orphan will be set as you enter the level. All of the enemies are most like, I mean, I can't prove that, but that's usually how games work. Most of the enemies are going to be preset before we even, as the level is loading up. Right. If you would be so kind. Thank you. So, behind, looking away. Wait for that to pass through, for any of those of you who are not familiar with dealing with old Gabriel. That is a fantastic arrow for us, because it allows us to go ham on him, but we do need to get out of the way of his strikes, make use of locomotion and actual bodily movement. Sometimes hitting him in the face when he does that actually rocks his sword, and where his sword is pathing is where he actually hits you. Don't try and dodge out of the way as if it's overhead strike. It usually ends in tears. If you are confident, go for headshots. If you hit Gabriel with a Winter's Bite and you have another arrow that would do tick damage in hand next, do not hit Gabriel with the other shot. You want the Winter's Bite tick damage to affect him before you override it with another arrow. So for instance, if I hit him with a Winter's Bite when he was at full health and then hit him with a Wildfire, I've just cost myself doing probably about 10,000 damage to him at this point. Ball of Lightning, that is not tick damage. Well, it kind of is, but it's not. It's not status effect damage, should I say. That should kill him. Oh, didn't even need the explosions. It's not status effects damage. That's what I mean by tick damage or damage over time. So if you hit him with a Winter's Bite, if you hit him with a Wildfire and then a Curse and then things like that, it doesn't matter. Pestilence also has a chance of overriding these things as well. But if you hit him with a Winter's Bite, stop hitting him. The next damage over time effect arrow that you get out of Wildfire, Curse, and Pestilence, do not hit him with. Winter's Bite does a hell of a lot of damage if left to its own devices. If you keep chalking up other tick damage effects on it, it overwrites Winter's Bite and he doesn't take anywhere near as much. Oh shit, I was going to check my score. Oh, let's get to the end of this. I've timed myself and I can do with the pits, with despair, I suppose, because the other one takes a bit longer. Agony takes a bit longer. I think I can do a cycle in about half an hour? Maybe that's a bit long. Don't know. Half an hour, 20 minutes. I think someone timed me last time I was doing it. I think it worked out about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that. So it's the other thing it's the other reason why I like this mode. We don't need to go down there. I'm just checking for where the likely locations of a portal spawn are. One is there, but I don't think it's there. Nope. one of the other effects of this as well is I find this very throwaway. This isn't like a main run that you've done fucking 60 hours of at this point and got a really good score going on, and, you know, every arrow that you fire feels like it's going to be your last. When you reload the game, it's like, am I going to die today? I don't really fucking care. Not in the way that I'm playing this. This is very happy-go-lucky. And very enjoyable as well. I know she can spawn there, so we're going to go and have a quick look. Nope, she's there. Of course she is. And I haven't cycled arrow, which is a bit shit. But that's not a bad one. And orphans are probably one of the worst targets to go after if you can't hit them with a big arrow like we want to. That's a big arrow. And away. And now at this point, again, we're not looking to fight. We're just looking to get out of there. And loop around if you have to. If you've got Divine Sights and Cupid's Wraths, launch them. It's the same as everybody else. Even I get that. Like, you know, like cycle, what, 15, 16? Even I'm like that. And it's going to be even fucking worse now. Right. Yeah, I didn't check that as well as I should have. Hang on a sec. Again, you should check. Double check twice, leave once. I don't think there's anywhere that the pit could be here. One of the top tips that I would give you, especially in Abyss when you are leaving an area, is Abyss has a nasty habit of putting the portal on the back of things, so you can't see them when you're coming in or from a distance. The other thing, yeah, it can be a bit of a nightmare, but when you have left an area, look back on it. The other thing as well is, so if I'm quite certain that I can't see the pit on that area, it has to be in this area, obviously. If I've looked everywhere, and especially you've got to check that there's no underground areas. Where summoners can spawn underground is where there can be a pit. Now, again, if we were at the right angle, we would be able to see, if it was on there, the pit from here. It would be, in fact, you guys might even, with what I've done with the stream, you would be able to see it if we can see it here. I can't see it, so that says one of two things to me. It is either on the reverse of a building, on the back of a building, or more likely, because I know that configuration, it's underground. So I would put money on the fact that it is underground. See that little stained glass there? That is an entire underground section. I would put my money on the portal being down there, which is one of the more dangerous ones for us as the most fletcherous fletchers. Most fletcherous of fletchers. The fast and the fletcherous fear this portal. But we want to basically get straight down there. No messing around. Alert as little as possible. Tuck yourself in this corner. Deal with what comes. There is going to be more on the way. There always is. What are you doing? You coming? Going? Staying? You blowing? You're blowing. Sucks to be that guy. Stay here for a little while as well, because there may be cupids. They can teleport to here, but that's about the only place that they can go. Put a little count to 10. Jessica Fletcher, indeed. Indy, you've got I was letting one of my members know she actually is a horse archer / jouster in real life, and I was saying about the jousting video that you did for that. I think it's an indie game on the App Store. I think you did a stream, but I think that's where I saw it, or you've at least got the title for it. So at this point now that I'm quite certain of my surroundings... Oh, he has seen me. I thought he did. Let's kill him. Nice. I'll give you a 5. So now that we're in this corner, all we want to do, have a little peeky. There's our portal. Shit. So this is actually one of probably the hardest scenarios to get in. But all we can really do, use the arrows that we've got, to do what damage we can. Try and keep the arrows short, otherwise shit like that happens and you lose life. Hope for divine sights and Cupid's Wrath. You will alert the ghosts by just firing nonsense into there. Stick on this back wall. Once you've dealt with the ghosts, that is kinda the main threat. Look at that mess of arrows. That is kind of the danger over. Once the ghosts are out of the equation, you'll find that this is quite a tight and packed space. Thanks for making an appearance. It's quite a tight and packed space. Watch out for these shadows. Archers will hide in them, and they hide in them, the brown ones particularly, very fucking well. If you find yourself in here and you've cleared all the archers, but the summoner is the problem, perch yourself on this wall. This summoner isn't going to hurt you, and the abominations will just sit stock still. I hate the numbers to show damage, and I hate the life bars. Stop it, Indy. Oh, nice one, Nob. Thank you for coming in. I know you've seen this a million times before. Yeah. So, now, the other thing is, this is definitely going to be the Pit of Despair. Oh, actually, no, it's not, because I have exited. This could be either. This could be either pit. If you stay within a session and you do one pit in the Abyss, the next pit will definitely be the one that you haven't done. We can kind of manipulate that to get the pit that we want more often than we need. Or, yeah, try and get the pit that we want more often. I want Despair. Hopefully this is Despair. If it's not, it's because we have left the game and saved. This could be either at this point. Oh, it's Despair. Happy days. Yeah, the numbers ruin something on the immersion side of things for me. It's one of the things that I do actually really like about Mortal is that there's no life bars and the numbers aren't as bad. It's the life bars that get me. Don't like the life bars. But again, I've missed out on absolutely amazing games. Almost missed out on this game because I couldn't get over myself on numbers and life bars. Good job I did. Completely missed playing Borderlands because of that one little weird thing. Don't make those shots. They're not worth the risk. That was a Hellfire, so there was 3 chances. So it wasn't too bad, but don't. It's when you start making the risky shots that's when things start going wrong. And again, we've alerted them. We can hear that he's firing. What's he going to do next? He's either going to go unalerted or he's going to teleport in. I should get close to him, but again, it's a Hellfire, so I've got 3 chances. Holy Light. Fucking worst arrow ever. But not too bad in that situation. Now, again, Incursion is not the arrow that we want for these Cupids. So, because Cupids are probably the hardest thing that you can come across in this game, especially if it gives you these fucking garbage arc arrows. So, one of the things that we can do is try and cycle arrows on enemies that we can deal with easily, so we get arrows that will take out said threats easier than Incursion. Thank you. Excellent example. Well done, Abyss Monk. On. Now, we can hear that laughter. She can spawn here. That is the easiest spawn that you can have to deal with. We want to start thinking about, at this point, because we've got time to do it, and the enemies to do it, we want to think about cycling our arrows at this point. I do not want Winter's Bite. I do not want Cupid's Wrath. Definitely do not want Incursion. But I also don't want to have to fire that too far. It's firing incursions at enemies that far away will cost you life. Let's get the Cupid's interest. If you can come over here for an incursion delivery, that would be most appreciated. I will leave you all the real estate that you need. It's like I remember I almost didn't play Spelunky. I don't know if any of you guys have played Spelunky. I almost didn't play Spelunky because I didn't like the chibi big head, small body thing. I'm not a fan of it. And then I got, not tricked, but I got coerced into playing it because I was told that there was multiplayer on it. And a friend of mine really liked playing it and it looked good. I just didn't like the graphic style. I bought it. We found out that it was only local multiplayer and not online. Fucking annoying that was. Hello. Oh, you flew in. You do realise that you could just teleport, right? Fucking idiots. So, yeah, Spelunky 2 I know is obviously online multiplayer. Spelunky 1 wasn't, it was only local. Probably one of the greatest games that I purchased based on somebody else's wrong information ever. I sunk so much time into Spelunky, and again, it's another one of those games that's given me my love of the roguelikes and roguelites. This is a good arrow for what we want to do. Not the best, but it should, between it and the explosion, one-shot the orphan. She is off to our left. We're going to get straight in there, next to her, plant. She's dead already. And now we'll return. I'll fire one of those in there because that'll do some damage. We'll go back. Shield bash him out of the way because I want to keep that. Is there any left in here? There's a couple left in here, but there's more on the way. I want to make use of this really, but that's not going to do a lot. Let's go and get... Now, the reason why I'm making a point of going back and getting these enemies is these are easy takes. Oh, look at that. 2 for 3. Hello, Wi-Fi. So, the reason why we're trying to kill as many enemies back there as possible is because they're easier kills. Again, it's a numbers game. As we have killed... When we have killed enough enemies... The incubi, you will see at the moment, is made of stone. Now, can you hit that incubi and cycle your arrows? No, you idiot. It's made of stone. Did I try? Of course I fucking did. Just in case. Oh, hello, Kicking. How you doing, dude? Right. So, this is about killing the enemies to... unpetrify the boss. And we're going to do that by hopefully firing some spicy guided arrows into here. And that will, again, hopefully, bring plenty of enemies in on us. Now, again, so like, look when somebody who's supposed to be good at this game, okay? When am I losing my life? I am losing my life dealing with the humdrum. I'm not losing my life doing what my purpose is, which is to kill the orphan. This is where I budget for my life loss in the pits. Not so much this pit. This pit should be quite easy, he says. This one's the easiest one for getting the orphan, definitely. Let's get you... That's a good arrow, but it's going to cause everyone to fucking teleport. That takes care of you. That is a risky shot that I shouldn't take. Now we've got to wait, because Holy Light... Garbage Arc. And our Incubi has in, and he's straight there. So seeing as he was activated, again, because I am looking to this area, that is a valid teleport location for him. Ergo, he'll teleport there. We don't want to fight him out in that mess, because fight smart, not hard. And we are just going to end his shit real quick. Done. Take. Done. And then we jump. Fine by me, mate. I'll answer to anything. And again, grab the health. Get out of there. Do I need to kill anything else that's left in there? No. Have I dealt with the orphan at this stage already? Yes. We are on... Oh, I'm actually doing a lot worse than I usually do. Maybe they've changed something scoring-wise. To be fair, I probably would have done a little bit more work than this, score-wise. But again, we're over 500,000 now, and we've only been playing 2 hours. This is only cycle 2. And we're still able to one-shot KO orphans. Again, I suppose I've been yammering on and explaining things too much. But it slows me down just a little. Let's get... Indeed. Just about. Yeah, this is end of cycle 2. So what we'll do is, again, let's... If you could do this, if you could pull this off, and again, you'd be able to lose a lot more life than I have. If you are capable of pulling this off, up to cycle 2, killing Asmodeus, this should put me in the top 10. Just orphans, just bosses. If you can get to cycle 4, I can guarantee you a space in the top 10. It might not stay that way, but you will score high, and you can do it very fast. So it then becomes quite throwaway. It's also a really good way to start learning the locations of the orphans and learning the locations of the pits. It will kind of slightly improve your pit game as well, because you'll be going in there in a kind of, I need to get the orphan balls to the walls way. It slows down the further you get, but again, we're in, we kill, we leave. We go in, we kill. So again, cycle arrows, divine sight and cupids, ditch them into the ground. Do not fire divine sights and cupids at this guy. It will potentially pop a blister, and then the other arrows will fly back and pop the skulls as they are on the way to you, and they always seem to time for when those things are next to you. So again, Cupid's Wrath, dump. You don't lose any life from Cupid's Wrath and Divine Sight. Again, my advice, take it or leave it. But I've done enough testing to know that if I do my normal ways and fire Divine Sights and Cupid's Wraths at him, it will explode them, the skulls will travel to me, they will catch me, and I'll get done. Azure's Fury isn't a bad one. This should travel between a couple of things. Potentially... Oh, bloody hell, it's done all 5. Whoa, Azure's Fury, really good arrow. And then again, nice, short, little bounds. Keep going. Keep going. And the reason why we do short ones is to give those skulls time to catch up to our back. Once they touch us or come within an area of us, they then stand stock still and their self-destruct mode goes. So Azure's Fury is probably just as good. That's an easier arrow to use than Cataclysm. You don't even have to aim Azure's Fury. So again, we'll sit here. It's nice and safe, can't be hit. You can use this to take out Asmo's first stage if you're struggling with it, with spicy special arrows, a Wrath of God from here, like I've done in one of my Masters in a Minute videos about the different bosses and the way to defeat the masters of the level with specific arrows. If you can fire a Wrath of God from here and land it right on his forehead, it will bounce off his forehead and take all of his boils out. And then you just skip back like I've been doing. Anyway, we'll wait for 1, 2, and then we'll wait for that third one to be in mid-air and fire our teleport arrow to land here. And now he's on a cooldown. Again, Divine Sight, dump, Cataclysm, yes please. No Wog, no. Have I ever shot what from the rafters, sorry? Sorry, say that again, wife. I would check, but I'm just in the middle of something. Perfect arrows. Divine Sight at this point is great because the threat here is those boys. If we can take all of them out, easy doors. Into this corner, tuck in nice. Wait here. Pillar obstructing our view. The monks are forced to either move into our view or teleport into our view. Nice easy shot. Would have been funny if I'd have missed said nice easy shot, wouldn't it? Again, stay here. We're under no real pressure because we can kill all of this very fast with the armaments that we have. We'll little hellfire there. Now we step out, now that the threats are gone. Deal with these boys. Nope. That's come down already, so I'll put a Hand of God there. I would then, with a Hand of God here, I would move in and start tidying up. Keep your eyes on a swivel though at this point. Stay within the bubble. Good evening. That, again, cataclysms are one of the worst and best arrows. They'll do a good job for taking things out, but it's cataclysms that you forget about, you fire too fast, that will hit an enemy. You'll forget about it. Cataclysms on these guys are particularly bad because when they blow up, they can send them all over the show, and I fucking guarantee you they'll duck whatever it is that you're sending their way next. That should be enough to finish him off, so we'll leave the effects to do their business. On. Mate, you give me a challenge. Save it for the stream of pain. You might win yourself something if I can find a way to make it a winnable stream sort of thing. So again, we're going to cycle. Hand of God, Cup, Asmo. Go, Hand of God, Cup, Asmo. And he's slow. It just buys us more time for getting the right arrow. We want Divine Sight or Cupid's. If you get another Hand of God, you'll have to cup him again. Didn't get it that time. No, definitely no Wog in Fletcher. Wrath of God. Oh, that's good. Get that off. Oh, why did you go for the other one? Stupid arrow. Always said it was shit. Yeah, no Wrath of God in Fletcher. Where's that one going? That's not where I was aiming. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. Remember what I said about the sharding? I would vogue in. I always vogue into the rocks. When you're voguing away, when you're moving away, I find it can be more difficult. Same with projectiles. When you're moving away from the projectile or from the projectile's curve, you can often misjudge it. If you're moving into it, you are moving into a safe space. Same sort of principles as if you were, I don't know, it's like a martial artist thing. If you were defending yourself against someone who had like a bat, you would try and move into their arc so that they can't do as much damage to you on the swing. And this is kinda similar, I guess. Right, see if I can actually get to my fucking spot this time. I like to sit here, and the reason being is because I can be here. It makes my next teleport arrow. I didn't think you were dead, you prick. Let's go back. Got a bit hasty, sorry. Bit hasty, Master Hobbit. Cycle. We'll fire one of them off, see if it gets there. Hey, it did, lovely. Let's try this again, shall we? I'll miss it now. There we go. Right, so we're on. The reason why I go here is I find the teleport shot from here to get straight up onto the landing that comes down here a lot easier shot to make. Here also, as we've talked about, if you come in behind where the enemy has been programmed to be put to deal with you, it can make things easier. These enemies have been put to deal with you as you come up the stairs. They are not placed well to deal with you coming from behind them. A la here. It allows us, because I always find at that point it's the incubi, not the incubi, it is the... Oh, you're up there, are you? Yes, quite. It is the Cupid that often ruins my day in that circumstance. It's not a good arrow. There we go, volley 5. I was actually using the Cupid, the incubi there to cycle so that I could do that. Unfortunately, volley 5 used to be a very rock and roll arrow. I can't remember who referred to it as that, but I loved that. It used to be a rock and roll arrow in that when you did a close range headshot with volley 5, it used to stuff all 5 arrows into their face. Now, it fires and hits them with all 5, but it only displays 1, and it's a bit shit. So what we could do here, whilst we're waiting, thank you for turning up, is we could start cycling our arrows, but I need to be more concentrating on luring the abominations over here because we've still got the incubi to deal with. I don't want to go after him. The whole 3 rocks and have a breather works at this point also. That was a bit shit. That was also shit. Anything about? Coming. Ow! Not a very good job. That should end it. Oh, right through the fingers! Really want to see those fingers. Cool. Although we didn't kill those, we still get the gold for them as well, so it's all points. Took a hit. Bit unnecessary, but again, I know that I've got 3 life coming, so you can kind of... When you are playing reasonably well at this stage like that, you can kind of throw caution to the wind a little bit more and play a little bit riskier. Right. Should go and see how if you can copy what I've just done there, and I think a lot of you can. If you're saying you can't, then you definitely can't, but if you try, I bet you can. Let's say all of you can copy exactly what I've just done through 2 cycles. You might be a little bit slow with it, and you might be learning, and you won't get it the first time, but if you can repeat what I've just done, look at that! We are almost top page. Anyone ever been top page before? Anyone want to be top page? A couple more points and we are top page. 1,000,000 points will see us beating a very good player. John, take a bow. And then 1.3 will see us beating Fishnets, another very good player. And 1.5 will see us beating a very good player, and even 1.6 and so on. Well, it's because the basically the orphans through the cycles alone, if you snag every orphan, are worth, I think I worked it out as 225,000. Someone can do the math on that for me. It's 25k per orphan, of which there are 3, and then 2 orphans, an orphan per pit. They're worth 62,500, of which there are 2. So that is then, what's that? 75k plus 6250 times 2, 62. 125,000 plus 75, yeah, so it's 200,000 per cycle, is that right? 63, 60, no, 62, 5, yeah, 200,000 points, 200,000 points per cycle, and then you have to kill the things in the pit, which is where you want to be killing normal things, because double and a half points in the pit. We could do with a little bit better than volley 3, but it does allow me to demonstrate something that can be quite important as you start getting higher cycles. So let's do that. I'll have a look for the pit, but I'm not going for it right now. He does wear fishnets. Mr. Fish. I know, right? Math, man. I'm no Rain Man, mate. Jesus. My math is terrible. So we're looking for the pit on our travels, but I want to show you guys another technique whilst we're at this stage, because there will come a point where you cannot, regardless of the arrow that you have with the bow, you get to the point at about cycle 4 where you cannot, even with volley 5, one-shot an orphan. So what do we do then? We could... This is a bit risky. I don't really care. What I'm hoping to do here is when I plant the orphan with this arrow that it doesn't die. And what I'm going to do, this is what I would call taking multiple bites of the cherry. Hit, she hasn't died, we run. Why do we run? Hear that? She's despawned. The damage that we've done to her already has put her on half health. Now, we could go through the level a little bit, cycle our arrows to another killer arrow, and then go back in for another serious punch of an arrow to the face. She will move in these scenarios, but there she goes. So in this circumstance, you can have multiple bites of the cherry without risking it all. Kinda. Which I thought was a reasonably elegant solution. Look at Divine's. That was actually really cool. Oh, why doesn't Divine Sight work like that all the time? But yeah, so by doing that, you can then, even when you get to the point, why are you eyeing me up? Yeah, that's right, you go back to patrol. When you get to the point where orphans... Yes. Yes. So the rest of it is from pits, basically, and what I'm doing from cycling. And if you can repeat this up to cycle 4, well, that's 1,000,000 points. And I don't think this won't take you, A, very long, and B, it will improve your skills in areas that you don't think it will. Your pit knowledge will improve. Your orphan placement knowledge will improve. I guarantee it. It's definitely improved mine. Again, there's a lot of guys in that courtyard. There's some ghosts to take out there. If I could just get in. And we're in. Yeah, slow-mo is the thing to abuse. Now again, volley 5. This pit isn't so bad. I wouldn't recommend you do what I'm going to do now. This will probably get me tagged, but again, it's for the showing it off. Whilst the pit is full, we can take multiple bites of the orphan in this scenario. Depends on where she is, though. Again, hammering that slow time button whilst I am checking all of the known orphan locations. And I'm going to try and not teleport in front of a fucking ghost this time. Please. There she is. And then let's go. Ba-bow! She dead. And back to the start. Very quickly. Very quickly. Very quickly. And we're safe. Safe as houses. In this circumstance, I'd actually come down... where would I go? Probably come down here. It's not the greatest of spots, we're honest. But if you're on ice, and then you have one of those, and then you have that, you can also have that. And then, if you guys can form an orderly queue behind my Hand of God, that'd be great. Again, leading ghosts on a bit of a merry dance is a very good idea. You can do it by changing level. Oh, Hand of God. Perfect. So let's move. Hey! She's got the right idea. Sorry, I didn't mean to gender identify you. But let's get a Hand of God down and start dealing with all that fucking mess in a minute. Take out the threats. Ah, you prick. It's my own fault for moving. Well, that got him. Woo! So, again, huge amounts of slow time abuse. Ow. What's that from? Is there a skeleton archer, isn't there? Of course there fucking is. Have one of them, you prick. Let's get these dealt with quick. And then we'll go back for him with one of those. So again, if you are not capable of this, you don't have to do this. This is all in the effort of making sure that I nail that orphan. But again, I can afford to lose probably another 3 or 4 ticks of life in here, because if I can beat Anakin without getting touched, which I should be able to, I'm going to get 2 pops of at least 2 health back from finishing this pit, and at least 3 health back from completing Purgatory. Now, the other thing to note as well is with the recent change of more health, there is an increased percentage. That's a bad ranged arrow. These are good, though. That is a bad, bad ranged arrow. Never try and take that shot, because it always goes fucking wrong. I'm trying to be quick. Ugh. That should deal with him nicely. If you're confident, get your headshots where you can. They do more damage, they take enemies out quicker. That's what we want, especially in the pits. But don't feel obliged to headshot. Special arrows, more often than not, are not designed for that anyway. Like if you've got a Tempest, you know, and you can line a few of them up, try and put it above their head if you can. That's very good of you, sir. Thank you very much. Have some balls. Now, I've got to remember that he's got cataclysms in him. He's got one, and if he wasn't already staggered, he would have been. I'll put another couple more into him, and then I'll let the cataclysms go off and hold that divine sight for dealing with the inevitable skeleton archer. There he is. Thanks for playing. Bastard. That was terrible aim on my part. But again, look where I'm losing my life. I'm losing my life on regular enemies. I mean, they are pit ones, and this is going to be a slightly harder configuration than the pit that we had previously, because skeleton archers. Only a C, though, on the difficulty factor, so it's all good. Rated C. I like to teleport behind skeleton archers so that they at least have to turn to deal with me in all modes, especially at higher cycles. It's when you try and play them at range and put in multiple headshots in is when they get you. Like that one almost did. Let's go and cycle this holy light out on you. And then throw that down there. Oh, divine sight, ladies and gents. What an arrow. You can have that. You can have... Oh, come on! Sort the tracking out. Trying. Woo! That was close. That was almost a very bad Terminator 2 ending teleport. So let's just pull it back a little bit and deal with some of these ghosties. Holy light, why you? Divine sight will not home in on them. Get rid of cupids quick because they go through ghosts. Anything else is game. Tempests sometimes take them out if they're close enough, as I said earlier. If you can with your divine sights as well, another thing that I found, I'm not going to be able to demonstrate now. Go on then, have one more. Fire your divine sights up and over on an incubi. There's a good chance that you'll get headshots out of it. If you're far away when you do that, it's decent points. I wouldn't make a point of going after that, but you could if you wanted to. More likely to actually get hits that way as well. Find lightning balls are very good on these if you can get plenty off. Who's shooting arrows at me? I heard ya. Can you, innit? Hail of Arrows is another good one. So look, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to teleport past him so that when I do land, he has to turn before he can engage. Reasonably useful. Buys you a few more seconds of think time, depending on your arrow. It's one of the things that I started doing in my very high cycle runs to try and avoid using Winter's Bites on... Just fire that over there. Might get something. To avoid using Winter's Bites on skeleton archers. Because I was finding later on into my cycles that I wasn't having the resources and wasn't getting given the quivers occasionally. So it then meant it was lucky as to how far I got in how many resources I got. So the only thing that I could do was reduce the amount of resources that I use. And I did that by trying to eliminate skeletons as something I have to deal with not have to, but say trying to. Oof. Not a very good teleport, but have an incursion to the face, sir. Would you like another? Again, we don't have to worry about Divine Sight and Cupid's Wrath, but if we can fire them off in a direction to get some use out of them, why not? Planning on a T2 ending? Doesn't look like it. Right. Almost done. Only 5. Enters bite. Anything else? I think we've just got the last little section to do. But yeah, I hate skeleton archers with such a passion that I would nearly always engage one with a Winter's Bite, whether it was by itself or not. I've got to the point within my game now where... Yeah, you can have one as well. Where if they are by themselves, I'm quite comfortable with dealing with them. Headset power is low? What? How long have we been going for? Hasn't been that long, has it? Missed. Uh-oh. Didn't miss. You can have the Holy Light. You can have that. Divine Sight for you. Cupid's Wrath for the finish. Ba-boom. Is that all? Kim battery, bastard. Right, well, I'm going to have to speed up the pace. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get my gasp ready. Oh, that's annoying. I wanted to get a bit further than this. But we'll be able to end it, and I can show you where I've got to in a 2-hour session where I've been yammering on way too much. Unusual of me, I know. Hey, look! Golden Spunk! Let's go! I am out of here. You could. There's an argument for clearing the rest of the enemies in the pit, especially if I had full life, but I do not. But there is a good chance that I will after that. And we're away. Would it be one of my streams if I didn't risk the entire run on trying to kill Anakin really quickly? I don't think it would be, would it? Let's have a little thinky. Oh shit, that's red. That's... Oh no, I've got to go. 10%. I know better. I know better now. I know better with how my battery life works. So we're going to go and save it quick. And have a quick check on our score. Ooh. Can he make it? Oh. I mean, oh, just. So what I will do is I will hold this run for another one of these so you can see me continue it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what is going on with my elite strap. It's not behaving. But on that bombshell, we'll end it there. Thank you all very much for joining me. We will definitely continue this run so that I can show you a little bit more as far as the Fast and the Fletcherous and how they play it. I have been Silver Tongue Devil. Good night.